Help us level the playing field. Sign the parliamentary petition today to fuel the growth and fund the game.
bench, number 1, Gab Maddy, number 5, Thomas Karlovic, number 11, Fraser Dunlop, number 17, Atticus Gonzalez, number 21, Joseph Lettieri, and number 23, Jake Ellenberger.
For the visitors, Melbourne Srbija, who are wearing all the white top, blue shorts and white socks, and they'll be kicking to the left of your screen. It's an unchanged lineup from last week's game, as Ivan said, that defeated North Sunshine Eagles 3-2 at Kevin Bartlett Reserve. Jared Hill is the goalkeeper, number 1. Number 2, Colby Pardon. Number 4, Jackson Netchovsky. Number 5, Cameron Davies. Number 6, the captain, Thomas Larkic. Number 7, Ryan Brown. Owen Shepherd, number 8. Number 17, Ben Devine. Number 19, Takumu Ito. Number 20, the twice goal scorer last week and the leading goal scorer for Melbourne Srbija, Emidio Rossi, number 20. And as we are underway here at Tomset Stadium and making up the starting 11 as the Knights straight away with the shot on target, and it's cleared away, and immediately the Knights show their attacking flair, and that was number 15, Darcy Anastovsky. And Ivan, I might be able to get through the starting 11 for Melbourne Srbija. Aaron Bazensky, number 21, as it's going to be a corner for the Knights, the home side. They're wearing red, white and blue, their traditional red, white and blue, kicking to the right of the screen. Prior to the game, officials were confident they'd get a crowd of about 1,500 tonight. Well, there may not be 1,500 at the moment, but they are still pouring in through the gates. And as the cross comes to the back of the post, and it was a little too far there for Leon Vandenhoven to get any connection to, and it is going to be a goal kick to Melbourne Srbija. But I can confidently say there's about 250, maybe 300 supporters on this Quarry Hill side, as they're naming it, right underneath our commentary.
Looking at the lineup today, it does look like Josh Diven will pair Darcy Anasovsky in the front line, moving to more of a 4-4-2 formation. We'll see how that one pans out. And of course, Melbourne Srbija, as Tonchi mentioned, remain unchanged from last week's win. As both teams here will look to settle into the game, get a little bit of control of possession. As the Knights circulate the ball back to Trenkovsky. Long ball to the left-hand side. And a Melbourne Srbija throw-in. Yeah, it'll be interesting, obviously, Tonchi. Melbourne Srbija did scrape into finals last season and were narrowly beaten by Melbourne City, of course, 4-3 in that playoff semi-final. They'll obviously be looking to go one better this year and get further into the playoffs. And of course, Melbourne Knights, well, they're looking to bounce straight back into NPL football after their unfortunate relegation. But both sides will have high aspirations coming into the year. And of course, Melbourne Srbija got their season off to a start last week with their first win. And Melbourne Knights can consolidate their position into the top couple in VPL 1.
Yeah, on paper it's 3 wins and 1 loss for the Knights, and 1 win, 3 losses for Serbia. So on paper you'd suggest that Melbourne Knights would be overwhelming favourites going into this game, but it's a derby game, it's a big clash, and Serbia last week came and did very well against North Sunshine Eagles, and the Knights did very well against Juventus in the end to record a win. So it is certainly going to be a very much closer game, I think, than the form book suggests. But Serbia now knocking the ball around right in front of our commentary position. Devine gets it over to Rossi, the goal scorer of a brace last week. As we said, he's the danger man. But it's fended away, and it's cleared away by the Knights' defence. I think that may well have been Theo Aresti, if I'm not mistaken, for a throw-in to Melbourne Srbija. There's lots of games happening tonight around the grounds as well, so we'll be regularly keeping you guys updated if you are tuning into this game. Green Gully and South Melbourne, just down the road at Green Gully Reserve. South Melbourne 1-0 up at half-time in the NPL. Oakley Cannons and Heidelberg United 0-0 after 20 minutes. And George Cross and Preston Lions. Now another game with a big crowd expected. That's also just got underway. It's 0-0 there. As far as the VPL 1 is concerned, Port Melbourne and Lang Warren, the bottom of the battle of the bottom two sides. That game is at a half-time, and it is 1-1 with Lang Warren having copped a red card. But back we go to the action here at Tomset Stadium. Pretty much in the opening 4 or 5 minutes, it's been the Knights predominantly in their attacking half. Ishak gets it over on the far side. The Knights in possession of the ball. Aresti now. He's got Ochieng, the captain, on his right. He goes on that side. Ochieng knocks it into the middle of the park. Darcy Anastosky, who's been looking really dangerous in the opening stages of this game. Odo, the score of that miraculous goal last week. And what a goal that was. Ivan, you were telling me just off air, like it was just came against the run of play, but he let fly. He saw the keeper off his line, and what a goal that was to seal the win.
Yeah, fantastic awareness from Otto last week to catch Nick Feely a little bit off his line, and one goal was the difference in that one. Of course, Tomset Stadium here, probably one of the larger pitches in the league, so it'll be interesting to see how Mick Calandrella and also Željko Popovic set up their sides to try and take advantage of that width and create goal-scoring opportunities tonight. As Serbia have possession. And the referee has called just for a late tackle there. Be a free kick to Melbourne Srbija. Just on the D there.
Luka Kolic there asserting his authority, so to speak. Might have been on Thomas Larkic there. Interestingly, Thomas Larkic, the captain of the Melbourne Srbija side, is the only player of Serbian extraction in the starting lineup for the visitors, and Luka Kolic is the only player of Croatian extraction for the home side. So it's a very, very multicultural team or squad that we've got, and it just shows how both these clubs are very, very inclusive and great to see. Good take there by Trenkovski, who has been very impressive in the opening stages of this VPL 1 season. He's been called into action quite a few times. And I guess that's the big difference between the two teams, Ivan. As far as goals scored this year, the Knights have scored 6, Melbourne Srbija have scored 5. So it's thereabouts as far as the attack is concerned. But it's in the defence, that's the big difference. The Knights have only conceded 3 goals, whereas Melbourne Srbija have conceded 8 goals. So there's a big difference there. Will it be that is going to be the key, the battle of the defences tonight?
Yeah, of course, Melbourne Srbija have had a little bit of change in their defence from last season, but of course, Mick Calandrella, he has coached a lot of his defence before. Of course, Theo Oresti, Asen Ishak, and also Adam Otto, all featuring for Mick Calandrella at both Altona City, and also Theo Oresti was with him at Brunswick Juventus in their promotion campaign last year, so of course, that stability. But as you said, Sonchi, I do think Lukas Trenkovski has been one of the most impressive players for Melbourne Knights early on in the season. And having a solid goalkeeper is very important, especially in VPL 1, to sort of set up that spine. So, as we see, hasn't been many chances apart from that early Anastovsky shot from outside the box. But the game's just settling into a bit of rhythm here as Oresti wins the header. And Serbia regain possession. Larkic back to Natsovsky. And back to Jared Hill as he goes out to the left-hand side now. And good win from Tavella. It does look like Morris Nugent is playing that defensive midfield role on his own. And we've got Tavella on his right. And we've got Vandenhoven on his left. And Kolic has a bit of freedom to operate just ahead of him. So more of a diamond midfield by the looks of it, but we'll see, obviously, how that goes throughout the first half and the rest of the game.
Yeah, it's a good move that by Coach Calandrella. Corlic he's fired up. It's a game that he'll definitely want to win, and we've seen that from the opening stages. And having that freedom in the middle to kind of roam around and just, I guess, utilise his skills and his pace and his strength as well, I think is going to be a big thing as well. It looks like Thomas Larkic will definitely be picking him up. That's definitely a duel that we got to keep our eyes on. As Trenkovski goes to the golf side, grandstand side, the Knights in possession right in the middle of the park. They go forward now. A poke there looking for Ochieng on the side. Unfortunately, he wasn't. Was way behind where his teammate thought he was going to be. And that was Nugent, who we just spoke to of moments earlier. And it's Melbourne Srbija now who have got possession of the ball. Still early days yet in the VPL 1 competition, but Northcote City at the moment, they've really started to show just how good they are. Pre-season favourites for the title. They've won 4 games, haven't lost one. But then it's interesting to see there's no less than 4 teams who have won 3 and lost 1. Manningham United, Melbourne Knights, Western United and North Geelong as well. North Geelong were also undefeated until last week when they lost to Northcote City at John Cain Reserve. And it was a 3-0 result there for Northcote City. So they'll... North Geelong are in action tomorrow against Manningham United, so that should be another fantastic game. A battle for the equal second spot between those two teams. But it's all the battle between the Melbournes here. It's all about them, the Knights and Srbija. And Melbourne Srbija at the moment have possession deep inside their defensive half. Hanastovsky on that far side. No, it wasn't. It was, in fact, Vandenhoven. Ball goes out of play. It is going to be a throw-in to be taken by Aaron Bazensky.
Of course, both sides also missing a little bit of firepower tonight. For the Knights, one of their signings, obviously Nathan Flanagan, impressed early and in pre-season. He's out. And also for Melbourne Srbija, Marcus Demanch is also not in the matchday squad today. So as the Srbija make a clearance just inside the 6-yard box. Melbourne Knights probably have had the early territory to start this one, but without anything clear-cut just as yet. As the referee here just wants to have a bit of a chat. Yeah, definitely a fantastic crowd here, Tonchi. Over 1,000 in attendance, probably nudging 1,500 if I'm being honest. And it's great to see local football thriving, isn't it?
Yeah, the outer has just... Here's an awesome opportunity for the Knights to score, but it was handled very well there by Jared Hill, who's punched the ball away. Ball goes away. It is going to be a goal kick. It's just a shame that the camera can't pick up the outer because it seems reminiscent of the old National Soccer League days. The crowd on this side has swelled to well over 500, I would say. And apart from the crowd that we've got here, there is obviously a large online crowd, people tuning in from all parts of Victoria, all parts of Australia, and no doubt there's some international viewers as well. But a big shout out to Ante Grabovac from Sydney, who's just contacted us and has said, great work, stream looks awesome, good quality. And Ante just so happens to be the ground announcer up at Sydney United as well, who have started the NPL New South Wales season in absolutely sterling fashion. 5 games, 5 wins. They are on top of the ladder. As their sister club, the Knights go into attack now. They managed to get a corner, and it is going to be yet another corner. I've lost count how many corners the Knights have earned in these opening 13 minutes. I think it's 3 or 4, Ivan?
Yeah, definitely Knights applying a little bit of pressure here. Some good interplay there on the left-hand side. 2 hands up. Does that mean back post? We'll see. No, it doesn't. Cleared out wide again. Ball to the back post this time, Anastovsky. Hill comes out to claim. Does very well. Of course, Melbourne Srbija will be wrapped with this surface. Of course, Kevin Bartlett reserve is not in the best of shape in the last couple of years, but I'm sure they'll be able to play some better free-flowing football on this surface tonight. And, yeah, no excuses for both sides. The pitch is in fantastic condition, Tonchi.
It's probably the best it's been in recent years. There's always been the grass here has suffered from different issues with patches and grass diseases and what you're not, but it is absolutely looking fantastic. Well, we're in for a fantastic contest tonight. Great atmosphere, big crowd, near perfect conditions, hardly a breath of wind. There is a slight gentle breeze, but nothing too out of the ordinary as Melbourne Srbija now comes into attack. Brown tries to get around Tavalla unsuccessfully, and Tavalla manages to poke the ball out for a throw-in to Melbourne Srbija. We've gone almost a quarter of an hour into this first half. The scores are locked at 0-0. We've got some interesting progress scores happening from other grounds. Oakley Cannons and Heidelberg United. After 32 minutes, it's Heidelberg leading the Cannons 2-0 in the NPL. And to the near post, Parton goes towards the back post, but there's that man again, Trenkovsky. He just exudes the confidence, and it was always going to be his ball. He wasn't going to let that go away too easily. Oresti goes to the far side. It's Ishak over there. Into the middle he goes. That's knocked back to Oresti. That Nugent with the ball. He seems to have switched into a centre-back role. Korlic back to Nugent. He looks around for holes in the Melbourne Srbija midfield. Korlic now goes to the near side where Oresti is there, and they're just happy at the moment just to knock the ball around. Korlic now goes to far side. Oh, that's a great delivery. And it's is it Anastosky on the far side? No, it was Van den Hoeven. And there's a good tackle, and it's still the ball's still in play, or has it? It's just gone out. Looks like it's going to be a goal kick.
Yeah, and Melbourne Srbija here looks like they're setting up in a 4-4-2 out of possession. Of course, Rossi partnering Ben Devine. Ben Devine, one of their bright sparks last season, ended up winning the Golden Boot for Melbourne Srbija, spending a lot of his junior football at FC Bulleen Lions. But yeah, he's made a great start to his career in Victorian senior football. So yeah, they'll be expecting another big season from Ben Devine leading the line for Melbourne Srbija. As it's a throw-in on the far side of the grandstand side here at Tomset Stadium. Melbourne Serbia's ball. Both teams have started looking to circulate the ball and get a bit of dominance in possession, but no team has really asserted themselves just as of yet. As the ball goes back to Hill, and he clears his lines. And Knights come away with it here. Otto searching ball, intercepted. Ball in dispute, and it will be a Knights throw-in. And, yeah, ball on the far side there. A sequence of throw-ins as Knights come away with it. Well done there. Out wide. Cross to the back post. Anasovsky, good defending, and Hill claims again. Getting a lot of balls into the box, Melbourne Knights. Just not much to show for it as of yet.
Yeah, they seem to be a bit more hopeful than calculated on that occasion. And as it has been the case in the last 2 or 3 occasions as well. But now here's an opportunity for Melbourne Srbija. A great tackle there in the end. And that was it Ishak? No, it wasn't. Yes, it was Ishak on that far side. one of the things here commentating at Knights Stadium is where our commentary position is. It's quite high, but those lights on the grandstand are quite low. And when you're trying to look on that far side, the numbers can get a little bit blurry and they get lost in the actual the lights. But Melbourne Srbija once again with the ball now. Shepherd had the ball, and it's gone. Looks like a goal kick. And there is a Melbourne Srbija player down. I missed who that is. Did you keep an eye on that? No. Well, we're just going to see. He seems to be okay. He just needs a little bit of medical attention, and he'll be fine. But he's holding his head. May be winded, and it gives an opportunity now for the players to catch their breath. And we're going to also have a look at some of the progress scores from other games. South Melbourne still ahead of Green Gully after 59 minutes, 1-0. Heidelberg have scored a third goal. They are running rampant at Jack Edwards Reserve, and it's only 37 minutes gone. At Preston Lions, it's 22 minutes gone. Preston Lions 0, George Cross 0. And in the VPL competition, Port Melbourne, after 64 minutes, are still 1-1 with Lang Warren, the two bottom place sides. Brunswick City, who are in 8th position, and Melbourne Victory, who are in 9th position, they have just kicked off. It's 21 minutes gone, in fact, at Dunstan Reserve, and the scores there are 0-0. That obviously has a bearing on this competition. Peel coming out rather confidently, clearing the ball out there. Ochieng knocking it back to his players. Aresti goes in circles, then he comes back to Ishak. On the far side, he finds Adam Odo. Back to Ishak. The Knights are very patient. They're very happy to kind of build it up slowly. Ochieng knocks the ball, but it comes off him after Owen Shepherd, the Canadian there, did applied good pressure. And Ochieng dribbled the ball over for a throw into Melbourne Srbija, right in front of our commentary position, in front of the famous Quarry Hill. As we said, there must be 500 supporters on this outer side, and they're very, very loud, very noisy, and very supportive of their team. And speaking of their team, they come forward. Here's an opportunity for the Knights. Attempted shot there by, I believe that was Nugent. Was it Nugent? And and it just ricocheted off one of the Melbourne Srbija defenders and into the safe hands of Jared Hill, the goalkeeper. Ito goes out far to Shepherd. Shepherd and Ochieng. That's another good battle that's going to, I think, captivate audiences tonight. And here's an opportunity for Devine. But he wasn't able to do anything with that ball right on the edge of the penalty box. And the ball is in the safe hands of Lucas Trenkovski in the Melbourne Knights goals.
And looking at both of these squads, Tonchi, of course, with Melbourne Knights being relegated, they've made a raft of changes in their squad. I think only Darcy Anasovsky from tonight's starting lineup was a Melbourne Knights player last year. And of course, on the other hand, Melbourne Srbija have kept a relatively stable squad. Of course, one big departure in the off-season is Jamie Wilson, probably one of their better players last year. He made the move back to FC Bulleen Lions. But Emilio Rossi's done well last week, obviously, to get on the score sheet twice. So hopefully some goals from Melbourne Serbia's number 20 for them this season, as the Knights have the ball on the edge of the box. Korlic out wide to Ochieng. Back to Korlic. Back to Ochieng. Now Ishak. From a similar area where Otto scored from last week. And that will be another corner kick for Melbourne Knights. They are winning the territory battle early on here. But let's see if they can make something of this one. And yeah, Melbourne Srbija have all 11 of their players in the 18-yard box. Let's see if they can pick out a Knights head here. Out to Anasovsky on the right-hand side. Has a shot. Shouts for handball. Waved away from the referee. And Van der Hoven receives a ball, but he is adjudged to be in an offside position. So there were shouts for handball there. Looked like it probably hit his torso. But hey, Tonchi, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the referee made the right decision there. He certainly was protecting himself, and certainly, and then in the end, I think that may have been Anastovsky, who was in that offside position as he was making his way back. I'll tell you one player, though, who's very keen to get on the score sheet tonight. He's got an opportunity in the starting lineup. He's former St Albans Dynamo player Josh Diven, who certainly got amongst the goals last season at Churchill Reserve. He's yet to score this year for his new team, but replacing Michael Suski, who has scored 2 goals for the Knights, and along with Anastovsky, who's is currently the leading goal scorer at the Knights with 2 goals. So he is yet to score, but he'll be certainly keen to do that. Devine managed to shoulder there. I think it was Van den Hoven, but quickly lost the ball as we see the Knights once again regain possession. Ochieng. Anastovsky. He's got a powerful frame, the number 15 for Melbourne Knights. Ochieng goes across the field to Ishak. The distribution has been very, very confident from both sides. Or just as I say that, I've put the mocker on some of the players there. But it looks like a free kick or free throw. Free kick, I think, on that side, right in front of the grandstand. We can't reiterate what sort of a good crowd it is. It's a great crowd, actually, tonight. And I dare say it's going to be the biggest crowd of the VPL season. I'm going to call that early. But, yeah, well in excess of, I'd say, in total, 1,500. But at the moment, another stoppage, and this time it's a Melbourne Knights player down. And we've gone just over 26 minutes. So I dare say at the end of this first half, there are going to be quite a few minutes added on. George Cross have scored against Preston. 28 minutes gone over there at Genesis Steel Stadium, and it's George Cross leading Preston 1-0. Port Melbourne still 1 and Langwarrin 1. 71 minutes gone over at Anderson Reserve, and it's still 0-0 between Brunswick City and Melbourne Victory in the battle between 8th and 9th. It's been a fairly even opening, I dare say, apart from those maybe first 2-3 minutes where Knights open with great ferocity. It's been quite a, well, would we say a cagey kind of an opening, but the first half hour or so hasn't yielded any goals. But possession-wise, I'd say both teams have been thereabouts, eh?
It's fairly good conditions for football here, Tonchi. A little bit of swirling wind about. Melbourne Knights have looked to utilise a lot of Darcy Anastovsky on this right-hand side, and they're quite comfortable playing the ball into him. He's got a pretty strong hold-up game. So the likes of Ochieng, Aresti and Tavella feeding the ball into his feet and getting runners working off him as Serbia put a ball into the box here. Through ball to Shepherd. Great tackle from Aresti. He's got some time. And launches long down the line to Anasovsky. Makes a contest out of it. But the ball comes out to Hill. Here's Tavella and Rossi. And again, Anastovsky with his back to goal. Referee waves that one away, despite the shouts from the Melbourne Knights faithful here on this Quarry side. As Trenkovsky now has the ball and circulates out to Aresti. And Melbourne Knights, as you said before, Tonchi, more than happy to be patient in possession. Of course, Melbourne Srbija Setting up in, looks like what's a 4-4-2 mid-block. And I think neither side has really got on top in the midfield battle just as of yet. But Nugent is quite often just dropping in between the two centre-backs to make it a 3v2 there to try and gain some ascendancy in that part of the pitch as it goes out for another throw-in.
It's hard to maintain that intensity constantly, and I think both sides are starting to find that out, and a little bit of nervousness starting to creep into the play of both these sides. They've used that opening half hour to try and suss the other team out and try and crack the respective defences or even through the midfield. And it doesn't seem to be happening. So both defences, both midfields are playing very, very tight at the moment. The Knights, as you said, very patient with the ball, but on this occasion we've got Shepherd now looking to break away from his opponents, and it's still Melbourne Srbija Parton there. Shepherd now from behind. Is he going to get a free infringement there? He is, and it's going to be a free kick to the Melbourne Knights. And the referee has let a lot go tonight. He just has to be very careful that he doesn't let too much and that the game gets out of hand. But at the moment, he seems to be doing a good job. The game has been fought out in very good spirit at the moment, and it's been quite an enthralling competition. Yes, we haven't had any goals. We haven't had too many clear chances, but I'll tell you what, it's just fascinating watching these two teams, how they're just trying to break each other at the moment. And I think it's fair to say it's still in that phase where they're trying to suss out the opponents at the moment.
Yeah, for sure, Tonchi, as the Knights bring the ball inboard. And the cross goes into Hill's hands. Yeah, for a derby, I guess you'd say, there hasn't been too many fireworks and it's been played in good spirits. Not too many rash challenges so far. Of course, the last time these two sides met was actually in 2019, where they played in the preliminary rounds of the Doherty Cup as Serbia go forward. But yeah, that was 7 years ago, and I have a vague memory of that one, Tonchi. I was involved off the bench, so didn't do much there.
I was going to say, tell us about your direct involvement in that game, because you being a former Melbourne Knights player, you were involved in that game.
Yeah, good memories of that one. Big crowd was away at Kevin Bartlett Reserve. We actually went on to make the Doherty Cup final that year. Unfortunately lost 1-0 to Hume City. But yeah, fond memories as Anastovsky surges forward on the right-hand side. Ochieng inboard. And a shot that's blocked. And Serbia come away with it. Ball still in Melbourne Knights territory. Ochieng to Anastovsky. Back to Ochieng. And now the play is switched. And Asen Ishak comes away with it. Out to Adam Otto. Sloppy pass, turnover. And now Serbia try and get a bit of composure on the ball. But yeah, Melbourne Knights are a bit more comfortable in possession early on. Melbourne Srbija probably not as patient as of yet. So we'll see if there's some changes further into the game or into the second half. I'm sure both sides will regroup at the halftime break. Still 13 minutes to go in this first half. Not much in the way of chances, but both sides getting a feel for each other early on here.
Now, I do notice that number 17, Atticus Gonzalez, has come onto the pitch. I'm just trying to work out who is off. It looks like it could be Leon van den Hoven. I can't see number 25 out there. We'll just keep an eye out on there. But it looks like the Knights have already made one substitution, and that escaped me, so I'm not sure if there was an injury and it's been forced on the Reds, on Mick Calandrella. But there's a bit of a pinball game happening in the middle of the park, and I think it's Corlic manager's looking to get it to Anastovsky. Ochieng to Corlic. He gets tripped and he's going to get a free kick. I'd say Van den Hoven is off. He doesn't look like to be on the pitch at the moment. Yep. Gonzalez now with the ball. Corlich in the middle of the park. Tries to split the fence there. Diven. Odo back to Diven on that far side. Josh Diven hooks it now. And it takes a deflection, but I believe it is going to be a corner. Yes, it came off one of the Melbourne Srbija players. And just confirmation that Leon Vandenhoven is off the park, and he has been replaced by Atticus Gonzalez, number 17. Well, the Melbourne Knights supporters, the MCF as they are known, have really been very vocal and very supportive of their team, and their team now has a corner. It goes to the middle of the penalty box, and here's an opportunity from a fair distance, and I think that was it Tavalla or Aresti that had that shot? Yeah, it was Marco Tavalla. A little bit of an ambitious effort from about 25 metres out, but it sailed well over Jared Hill's goals, and it will be a goal kick now to the team in white. Important game this for Melbourne Srbija. Next week they come up against Northcote City, and that's going to be a game that they'll be playing at home. So it's a key game that it's a key that they get a result here tonight as the Knights through Odo. He tries to almost emulate last week's effort, but he slipped at the crucial moment. And as for the Melbourne Knights, they will be travelling away to the Bulleen Lions next week, next Saturday night. Bulleen Lions at the moment, 1 win, 1 draw and 2 losses. But it's so tight at the moment. And it's way too early to start making any decisions or suggestions or implications regarding promotion. And I know last week I caught up with North Geelong coach Stuart Begg. That was after they'd won. That was after they won 3 games on the trot, just before the Northcote City game. And he said it's way too early to start talking about promotion, and for anyone, in fact, it's way too early. But here come the Knights. Corlich now lays it over for Josh Diven, but it's cleared away at the crucial stage by Aaron Bazensky, and it is going to be a Knights throw. In fact, a corner, yet another corner for the Melbourne Knights. Corner number 6.
As the Knights about to whip it in. Straight up, and Hill comes out to claim. Good goalkeeping there from Jared Hill. As Ryan Brown and Owen Shepherd have just shifted sides here for Melbourne Srbija. Both wingers, of course. So just give the fullbacks a little bit of a different look late in the first half here, as Knights come away with it again. But just slightly misplaced pass there from Gonzalez. And a Melbourne Srbija throw in. Of course, Melbourne Srbija struggled at the start of last season. After 13 games, they were in the relegation zone, but their last 13... they came home very strong, Tonchi. 9 wins, 2 draws and 2 losses. And ended up securing 7th position on the table in VPL 1. And did actually get to the playoffs after Western United, of course, were disqualified from the competition. That's a whole other story for another day, Tonchi. But, yeah, they'll obviously be looking to stake their claim in VPL 1 again. And Melbourne Knights, on the other hand, have had a great start to life in VPL 1. As the ball comes out to the right-hand side here, and Ochieng has time and space. Anastovsky peels outside on the right. Will he come back on his preferred left foot? He won't. Step over, right foot into the box. Cleared from Serbia. And they clear their lines again. And Nugent flicks it out to Ochieng, but he's under pressure and can't keep it. Aresti and Devine. Well defended by Aresti. And again, Knights retain possession. And looking to create width here. Ishak finds Anastovsky. To Tavalla, to Ochieng. Ball forward to Anastovsky. But good defending by Takumu Ito. And that is a foul for Melbourne Srbija. So we've got about 5 to 6 minutes left in this first half here. There's certainly more fireworks on this side of the field, Tonchi, than there is on the field so far. A lot of colour and noise coming out from the Quarry Hill.
Yeah, they've been very well behaved. Hopefully they'll stay like that. No flares, no swearing. Our effects mic hasn't picked up anything, so that's good. And well done to everyone involved as the action returns on the field. And dare I say, there'll be quite a fair bit of time added on. Gonzalez now over to Otto. This is dangerous because he's got a bit of space. Gonzalez now, he's got some space. And, that took a deflection there off one of the Serbian defenders. It was Larkic, in fact. And wrong-footed his goalkeeper, Jared Hill. And it could have ended up in the back of the net, but the trajectory of the ball dictated that it was going to go out for a corner. Yet another corner. I think that's corner number 8 for the Knights. And suggestions that he's going to go far. He's going to go to the back post. And a flying header there from Maurice Nugent. Uncontested. And it thundered past the upright there, but on the wrong side of the upright. And it is a goal kick now for the visitors. 0-0 here. It's been a very even contest. But possession-wise, dare I say, it's probably spent more time in the Knights' attacking half than it has in Serbia's attacking half. But at the end of the day, it's what matters on the scoreboard. And at the moment, it is 0-0. There's going to be a free kick there for a late tackle. And I believe that was Korlic again. And he's going to cop a yellow card there. No, it wasn't Korlic, sorry. Apologies, that was number 9, Josh Diven. And I didn't see who the player was that he copped. It was a little bit of a late tackle, but not sure if it needed a yellow card. Maybe it was something that was said to the referee. Either way, is that the first yellow card of the game, in fact? So there you go. It's taken us almost 42 minutes for the first yellow card to be shown. So that shows you it's been a hard but certainly a fair contest out there in the middle of the park, Ivan.
Yeah, exactly right, Tonchi. Probably the first rash challenge of the evening. As the physio's just out, providing a bit of attention. Yeah, 4 minutes ago, I'm sure the fourth official will add on a couple of minutes for this stoppage. But yeah, Melbourne Srbija have defended quite well away from home. Obviously, they've leaked 8 goals to start this campaign, going at 2 goals a game, which they'd want to rectify, and they've done well here away from home to keep it at 0-0 in the 42nd minute here. As play's ready to resume and Jared Hill goes long. Flicked on. And Tavalla clears. And it's a Melbourne Srbija throw-in deep in their attacking half on the left-hand side. I'm sure Željko Popovic would be happy with 0-0 at half-time for his travelling side. As long throw here from Brown. Comes to ground. And Melbourne Knights clear. And again, it will be a Serbia throwing at the halfway line here. Just a couple of minutes left in the half. And Colby Pardon has the ball here. Into Devine. And he's unable to hold that one up. Final minutes here. Can either side get something on target? Test the opposition keeper. As Cameron Davies clears. Adam Otto advances. Up the left-hand side. Well worked. Cross into the box. Cut back. And here's Tavella. Lines up! Marco Tavella. Just as the game needed a bit of spice. Great ball across. Decides to line up from 20 yards. And Jared Hill does sensationally well to dive to his left. Oh, geez, Tonchi, that one was close.
Yeah, that was certainly the shot of the match, and I believe that the fourth official is about to signify that there's going to be 4 minutes, but it comes to the near post, a waste of a ball goes out of play. In fact, it might be 3 minutes. And we've just entered 45 minutes now, and yes, 3 minutes of time to be added on. So there's plenty of time for one of these two teams to score. Anastovsky unable to, he got his head to it, but he was unable to control it. And you mentioned Željko Popovic, the Melbourne Srbija coach, would be very, very happy with his team's performance. Look, for a side that's leaked on average 2 goals per game in the opening 4 games, at the moment they've kept the Knights scoreless, so they've done very, very well defensively. They haven't really looked like troubling Trenkovsky in the Melbourne Knights goals yet. It's possible that anything can happen in these dying minutes of this opening stanza. But if anything, it's the Knights, and that shot there by Tavella was a ripper that almost had Jared Parton, cleaning the cobwebs from the back of the Melbourne Knights goals, as the Knights now in possession. That man, Tavella, what can he do? He knocks it into the middle of the park, but there was no one there for the Knights. Jackson Nechovsky was able to head that ball away for yet another corner. And we've got only 1.5 minutes in time added on, so there's still another 90 seconds at least. So this corner kick may be one of the last offensive actions of the first half. Luka Kolic is suggesting he's going to go long. He's got Tavella on the edge of the box there. Is he going to go that way? No, he decides to go in back. And here's an opportunity that was just ricocheted. Kolic now goes to the back post, headed by Gonzalez. Ochieng's been brought down. Calls for a penalty. Nothing happening. Ishak now. He goes long. Knocks it forward looking for Divan. Gonzalez. Out to Ochieng, who switched spots on that far side with Tavella. Divan. Nugent now, who's been quiet in the last few moments. Tavella, who's drifted back. Ishak now. Once again, Tavella has the ball. We've got about 30 seconds left. Anastovsky back to Tavella. He tried to go inboard looking for Kolic, unable to do so. Tavella now clears the ball away, or tackles the ball, however you like, but it is a throw-in to Melbourne Srbija, the dying stages of this opening half.
And Theo Oresti would have thought he had just opened his campaign for the Melbourne Knights, but that was well blocked on the near post, following on from that corner kick. Couple of good chances there from Melbourne Knights late in this first half as Emilio Rossi tries to switch the play, but he's surrounded by Melbourne Knights midfielders. Kolic. And the ball's out wide with Tavella, but the referee has gone over. Looks like it is Emilio Rossi who's down. And the assistant referees coming in to assist. Just recapping the first half here. Melbourne Knights, 8 corner kicks, only 1 for Melbourne Srbija. 5 shots on goal for the Knights to the 2 of Melbourne Srbija. Fairly even with possession. Melbourne Knights have had a little bit more territory. But definitely the home side have probably been, if I'm picking between the two, they've been the slightly better side. Have had probably 2 or 3 half chances. Of course, a great save from Jared Hill to deny Marco Tavella from outside the box. And a goalmouth scramble just a couple of moments ago, which Melbourne Srbija have done well to deal with. But the referee here just chatting to his assistant, just trying to work out what's just happened. Of course, Emilio Rossi was down on the ground. And the referee just wants to have a chat with Rossi now. And he's brandished 2 yellow cards there.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but the assistant linesman, we don't have VAR in VPL 1, but we do have the assistant linesman, and he saw there was obviously something happening off the ball, and so Mark Ochieng for the Knights got a yellow card, and so too did Emilio Rossi, who ended up on the field. So there was obviously something leading up to that particular incident. It's a bit of a shame for the Melbourne Knights faithful, because they were just about to go into attack and they had the momentum. That's when the referee pulled things up. So I dare say that's probably going to be it for the first half. There'll be a drop ball now, and we're probably going to see the end of the first half proceedings here. But yeah, towards the end there, 2 yellow cards to the Knights. Josh Diven copped one earlier, and Mark Ochieng. And for the Melbourne Srbija side, Emilio Rossi got one as well. So drop ball, it's going to be handed to Luka Kolic, and back to Ochieng. Tavella, last opportunity for the Knights. Ochieng now to Tavella. He's on the edge of the penalty box. He's going to now try and cut it in. Ball goes gone out of play, and it will be a goal kick. And dare I say, that will be half-time. Indeed it is. And a little bit of fireworks on the field to match the fireworks off the field. And when we say fireworks off the field, it's been of the vocal kind. Certainly hasn't been of any pyrotechnics. Let's reiterate that. But it was a little bit of a cagey, an even game. But the last 5 minutes maybe of that first half, Ivan, things started to really heat up. And I reckon we are in for a blockbuster second half.
Exactly right, Tonchi. 0-0 here at halftime at Tomset Stadium. We'll be back shortly for the second half. Grab a cup of tea and a few Scotch fingers, and we'll be back soon.
Welcome back to Tom Set Stadium for the second half of this VPL 1 Round 5 clash between the Melbourne Knights and Melbourne Srbija. It's been a very even opening half, as is evidenced by the scoreboard, which reads 0-0. My name is Tonchi Prusak, and next to me in the commentary position here at Tom Set Stadium is Ivan Gurgic. Ivan, very quickly, very briefly, how did you see the first half?
Yeah, thanks, Tonchi. Obviously quite even. We saw probably Melbourne Knights being a little bit more comfortable in possession and happy to be a bit more patient on the ball. Whereas Melbourne Srbija probably set up more in a defensive block, and they were happy to go into the halftime break at 0-0. So it'll be interesting to see if Željko Popovic makes any changes, or he'll let the second half evolve a little bit and wait sort of into the 70th minute or so to really go on the attack. But looks like they've set up to play more of a counter-attacking style here tonight, whereas Melbourne Knights have had a little bit more possession, but not much reward as of yet. As the players are ready, we're just waiting for the officials to come onto the field and restart this one. Beautiful conditions for football here at Tom Set Stadium. Little bit of a breeze, but nice and cool. No excuses for either side. And it doesn't look like there's been any substitutions at halftime. Of course, late on in that first half, Atticus Gonzalez, number 17 for Melbourne Knights, came on for number 25, Leon van den Hoven. Hopefully, looked like it was an injury, but hopefully it's not too bad. As we're all set to start the second half here, let's see which side can make a breakthrough and stamp their authority on this one. As we're back underway here, Theo Oresti launches it long into the defence of Serbia. And Rossi comes away with it. Yeah, looks like no changes. We'll see how this half transpires as Gonzalez plays Divan out on this left-hand side. Back to Korlic. Keeps it on this side to Otto. Through to Nugent. Back to Ishak and across to Oresti. As, Knights had a lot of possession in this sort of middle third in the first half. Serbia happy to sit back and let them have it there as they conjure a turnover. A good ball forward to Devine. 1v1 battle on that left-hand side. Shouts for a foul, waved away. And Tavella comes away with it for the Knights. Yeah, Melbourne Knights very comfortable in possession. We'll see if they throw some extra numbers forward. Of course, they've gone two up front tonight with Josh Divan and Darcy Anastovsky leading the line. But, Anastovsky's probably been more so the focal point so far, and Divan playing a bit more of a wider forward on the left-hand side. But, yeah, as the ball comes out to Otto. Back to Nugent. And they're happy to circulate it across the back line. As a ball into the box. Well cleared by Netsovsky. And it's a Melbourne Knights throw in deep in their attacking half.
Knights with the ball. Ochieng threw it into Tavella, but it's cleared away by the Melbourne Srbija defence. And we've spoken quite often in the first half at how important it was for both teams defensively to be on top of things. More so the case of Melbourne Srbija, who have conceded 8 goals up until now, where the Knights have only conceded 3. So predictably, both defences have been on top. Nugent now knocking it to Ishak. Ishak's been one of the impressive players at the start of the game, and he saw Otto there, and Otto was a little bit slow off the mark and wasn't able to get to the ball in time. but it is going to be a Melbourne Srbija throw-in. If you've just tuned in now, a fantastic crowd. A crowd in excess of 1,500 here today. And it has been very loud from both sides, both sets of supporters, but well behaved up until now. So hopefully it'll continue that way. And what's pleasing to see is that majority, certainly on this side of the field, it's a lot of younger people. There's a lot of young people, and the travelling Melbourne Srbija fans as well on the far side, on the right-hand side of the grandstand. It's a lot of young people, so it's great to see a lot of younger people coming along to these VPL games. And it's going to be a corner kick to the Knights. Their first of the second half. I think they had something like 8 in the first half. And it's going to be Luka Korlic. But at the moment, the main referee and the assistant on the far side having a bit of a quick chat. But everything is in readiness now for a Luka Korlic corner. He goes to the far side. It's cleared away there by Devine as far as the halfway line, and it is going to trickle over, and Ishak quickly gets the ball, throws it all the way back to Trenkovski. Trenkovski launches a rainmaker. Ochieng on there, chests it down. Ball's once again up high. Gonzalez almost lost it. Korlic now. He's got a bit of space. Is he going to launch with his right? He does. But the ball goes well wide of the target. And it is going to be a goal kick to the Melbourne Srbija side.
Yeah, Melbourne Srbija still retaining that 4-4-2 shape out of possession. As Jared Hill lines up for another goal kick here. Not a bad try from Korlic, but just miscued out to the left-hand side. As Pardon tries to take on Korlic. Can't get past. But Ito is there to help. Searching ball. But Trenkovski judges that one well and claims that. Ball out wide to Aresti. Back inboard to Trenkovski. And back out to Aresti, who launches down the line. Ball with Ryan Brown. And that's good defensive work right there from Atticus Gonzalez. As Ryan Brown fouls Adam Otto on the left-hand side. And a Melbourne Knights free kick. Slow start to this second half. And Ishak goes long to Anastovski. But Serbia win the header. Brown to Lakic with a forward run. And that one's been cleaned up by Morris Nugent. And out for a Melbourne Srbija throw-in. And turnover. And it's a throw-in to the Knights here. There's been a few occasions where they've played some long searching balls, obviously playing in a 4-4-2. Try and occupy both centre-backs, but both sides have done well to deal with any long straight balls. As Natsovski clears again. And flicked on by Ito. As the Knights come out the right-hand side. A bit of space here. And just escapes the right foot of Mark Ochieng. And it's a throw-in for Melbourne Srbija.
Yeah, that was a good chance gone begging. He had lots of space there. He had the momentum as well. He just was unable to control that. Had he have got his foot to the ball and controlled it, I reckon he would have had 15, 20 metres to run, and the Knights would have had a really good opportunity then. Nonetheless, Corlic now with Gonzalez. Those two are linking up very well across the middle of the park. And here we go with Otto on the near side. He's got a bit of space. He launches onto his right foot, but once again, and I just detect a little bit of frustration starting to creep into the Knights players. They're unable to break this very, very stoic Melbourne Srbija defence. And they're now starting to aim for like hopeful balls and more speculative efforts. But at the moment, that's the only thing missing, Ivan, isn't it? We've got a great crowd, great atmosphere. It's been an absorbing contest. We just haven't got goals yet.
Yeah, and both sides are sort of mirrored how they're setting up. It'll be interesting to see if either coach decides to deploy sort of a three-man midfield to try and get that extra number in there to get a bit of control. But, yeah, no changes as of yet, as the game's in a bit of a stalemate. And the Melbourne Knights clear. And it'll be a throw-in taken by Aaron Bazensky. No, Bazensky decides to hand it off to Ryan Brown. Looks like he'll be going long into the box. Of course, the long throws made a bit of a comeback in Victorian football, Tonchi. It's good to see a few sides deploying it as they get another opportunity here. And Netsovsky makes his way up into the box. Ryan Brown to launch. Flick on to the back post. Well read by Trenkowski, but a bit of a half chance there. Out to Ishak and back to Trenkowski. And now Aresti comes away with it. Both Melbourne Knights centre-backs are very wide in their build-up, creating a bit more room for the midfielders as Atticus Gonzalez drops into that space and receives from Ishak. And now a good switch of play to Ochieng. And yeah, as we said, Tonchi, Melbourne Knights more than happy to circulate the ball around the back line. Just waiting for an opening, but Melbourne Srbija have been quite resolute in defence up to this point. As they get through on the right-hand side, Ochieng tries to whip one in, comes to the edge of the box, but Serbia get numbers back just in time, and it's a goal kick for Jared Hill.
Luka Corlic there appealing to the referee, saying, no, I was upended there, I should have got a free kick or a penalty, but the referee wasn't having none of that. Speaking of Luka Corlic, ever since Gonzalez has come on, he's partnered him in the middle of the park, him and Corlic, and they very similar looking players, and certainly they play very similar, and Gonzalez has complemented Corlic, and certainly across the midfield, the Knights have started to look a little bit more dangerous there. It's just the flanks, and I think that's where they're looking to find that avenue. They're just not penetrating enough at the moment. But Nechovsky knocking it forward. Corlic now with the ball to Gonzalez. We mentioned about those two just moments ago. Here's an Anastosky with a left-footed effort that went whistling just over the crossbar there. I guess when you look at the shots on goal, the Knights have certainly been a lot more dominant there. I've counted about 3 or 4 clear-cut shots on goal. About 5 minutes ago, moments earlier, there was that effort that trickled to the back of the Knights' goal, but Trenkowski was onto that pretty fairly quickly and effectively as well. So really, at the moment, Melbourne Srbija haven't had too many opportunities. In fact, they haven't had too many clear chances. The Knights have had several, but they've been more speculative and more from a distance, really, than anything else, as the ball is in the middle of the park. Once again, the battle for the ball in the middle. Knights at the moment. Tavalla. Gonzalez. He stops, he props, he turns. Otto now, right in front of the Quarry Hill commentary position. Divan. Goes forward to Corlic. To Gonzalez on the edge of the box, and a swirling effort. We were right behind that. They had it curled and dipped. It could have gone in, but it didn't. And at the in the end, it is a goal kick to Melbourne Srbija. 57 and a half, or almost 58 minutes gone. Plenty of time left in this contest. It is an absolutely absorbing contest, this VPL 1 Round 5 clash between the two Melbournes. But as yet, we don't have a goal, and that's what we need right now to really, really fire this contest.
I think Željko Popovic would be reasonably happy. The Knights have had sort of 3 or 4 shots, but sort of 20 to 25 yards out as the ball spilled out. And Osofsky on his left foot. Big save from Jared Hill to keep it at 0-0. And that was an absolutely golden chance for the Melbourne Knights. As the ball was coughed up in the defence, Anastosky was through one-on-one on his favoured left foot, but Jared Hill has stood tall. As Emilio Rossi plays the ball on into Ryan Brown, and it's a corner kick from Melbourne Srbija. Here we go, Tonchi. All happening now.
Well, now the temperature has certainly risen both on the field and off the field, and it's now it's end-to-end stuff. That was Darcy Anastovsky had an opportunity to take his season's goal tally to 3 goals on that occasion. He didn't, and the ball's now very, very quickly moved to the other end of the field, and Melbourne Srbija has got a corner, and they haven't had too many corner kicks, but at the moment it's going to be Emilio Rossi going to the far post. Shepherd was there. It's cleared away. Here's an opportunity and a diving save there by Trenkovsky. And in that sea of arms and legs, we'll just have a look who that player was. Brown, was it? Yeah, Ryan Brown. And he managed to get onto his right foot. He swung around on a sixpence, as they would used to say. And it's another corner now from the other end, right in front of the travelling Melbourne Srbija supporters. Corner for Melbourne Srbija. Once again, Rossi to the back post. Headed away by Ochieng at the vital moment. And yet another corner. The visitors smell an opportunity here. And boy, oh boy, Emilio Rossi is certainly getting his steps up. He's going from one corner post to the other and back to the first one for the third successive corner in about 2 minutes. And here with a quarter of an hour gone in the second half. And the referee just halting play. He's called 2 of the players over and just said, calm things down, fellas. And all the focus now returns to Rossi. Is he going to go long again? He is. He goes towards the back post. Tapped away by Trenkovsky. And the arms and seas in the sea of arms and legs again. It's taken yet another deflection off the Melbourne Knights defenders. A 4th corner. Jeez, Ivan, you can just see that the atmosphere is and the temperature is really rising here at Thomson Stadium.
It's a furnace here, Tonchi. Jared Hill and Lucas Trenkovsky earning their paychecks in the last few minutes as another ball comes into the box. Lines up from outside the box. And that one has gone out for a goal kick. Melbourne Srbija turning to their bench to make their first substitution of the night. On comes number 24, Delano Ferro. And he will be replacing number 17, Ben Devine. Looks like Delano Ferro is coming onto the left-hand side, and Owen Shepherd will now partner Emilio Rossi up front as the Knights launch a counter of their own. Adam Otto cuts in. Ball to the far side, intercepted. Anastosky with the ball at his left foot. Call Luca College! 1-0 Melbourne Knights! And the crowd erupts here at Tomset Stadium. 63rd minute, Luca College on his right foot breaks the deadlock and gives Melbourne Knights a lead. Tonchi, what an absolutely fantastic curling strike into the top left-hand corner.
Well, the goals in the VPL 1 this season have been nothing short of sensational, and that was yet another world-class effort. Goal from Luka Kolic, the youngster who's come back to the Knights this year after a stint at Melbourne Victory. It's his second goal of the season, second goal here at Knights Stadium, and boy, oh boy, what a goal that was by the Melbourne Knights, number 19. 1-0 to Melbourne Knights, and it looks like we've got an incident off the field. Has someone just got injured in the goalmouth celebration?
We saw a few years ago in Melbourne Knights' Australia Cup run, the fence on this Quarry Hill side of Tomset Stadium didn't survive, and looks like it's gone down again as the Melbourne Knights supporters have absolutely erupted, and we can't quite make out who it is that's down there. It looks like one of the Melbourne Knights players. As the physio has been called across. Potentially Darcy Anasovsky. I can't see any yellow boots out there, so I'm thinking it might be Darcy. And boy, oh boy, the game had just started to heat up just a little bit, Tonchi. And we can see Darcy Anasovsky just getting to his feet now. And it looks like the physio is motioning for a substitution. That's very unfortunate for Anasovsky. Hopefully he's not too bad. And he's being walked off by one of the marshals and the physiotherapist. And we'll see who Mick Calandrella turns to on the bench here to replace Darcy. All happening here at Tomset Stadium. As looks like Melbourne Knights have not yet made a substitution. We'll wait and see who they bring on for Anasovsky. Game has sprung into life here. 66 minutes gone. Will be some stoppage time added for that goal and that stoppage in play. But boy, oh boy, what a strike from Luka Kolic.
What a strike that was, and what a celebration was. And unfortunately for Darcy Anastovsky, it certainly looks like he's gone down and got injured during the celebrations, and a bit of friendly fire, so it would seem. But he was very resilient. He got up. He's walking off, and hopefully he isn't injured too badly. But the action now returns back to the field. Josh Divan over there. He had two Serbia defenders to contend with. Kolic, he must be absolutely on fire at the moment, the goal scorer. And looks like there's going to be a free kick to the Melbourne Knights. It is. The Knights at the moment leading 1-0 here. And we have gone 67 minutes into this game. And dare I say, with that stoppage there will be some more time added on. But what a thrilling contest. We needed a goal. It's really ignited the atmosphere here. And certainly the visitors will be very, very keen to get an equaliser as soon as possible. Looks like it's Jake Allenberger who's come on to replace Darcy Anastovsky, as it's a free kick coming to the top of the box. Allenberger almost got his first touch there. Ishak now. Otto on the near side. Divan looking, holding the ball up. happy to be a little bit in possession, patient in possession. Gonzalez knocks it all the way back to Aresti. Aresti to Ochieng on the far side. Tavalla. Once again, the Knights are very happy to be knocking it around. Ellenberger is upended, knocked over. There's nothing in it, and it's going to be a goal kick. Well, I'm starting to get a bit of a frog in my throat with all of the excitement that's happening over here. But, Ivan, plenty of time. What if you were Željko Popovic at the moment, what would you be doing? Would you still be playing a very patient kind of a build-up game? Would you be trying to push someone off the bench on into an attacking move? What would be your tactics?
Yeah, of course, we've just seen the entrance of Delano Ferro into the game, so looks like Popovic has turned to a bit of pace. Of course, Ferro's a very pacey winger. So I think for Melbourne Srbija, they just have to settle here for the next 5 minutes, regroup. They don't want to cop a second one in quick succession, but they just need to settle, and then Popovic can maybe look to his bench. Of course, Jack Hindle's also on the bench, who scored quite a few goals last season in a lower league, but he's someone they can turn to for a bit of goal-scoring spark. As the ball comes out to the left-hand side, and Atticus Gonzalez and Nitsovsky in a foot race. Gonzalez wins out, turns inside, shirt pull. The referee says no deal, play on. Korlic asks for the 1-2, doesn't get it back. Divan out to Ochieng, back to Korlic. And then Melbourne Knights regain possession, controlling it here. Forward run from Korlic. Showing his quality tonight, of course, making the move from Melbourne Victory. Korlic again, onto his left, lays it off! Divan! Oh, Josh Divan. Nice layoff onto his right foot, just leant back a little bit. Of course, in the AFL, that would have been 6 points, Tonchi, but nothing here tonight.
Well, let's not talk about that sport. This is a lot more of a compelling sporting contest here at Tomset Stadium tonight. But Divan still looking for his debut or his maiden goal in Melbourne Knights colours, and that was a great opportunity if ever I saw one. Great build-up play by Luka Korlic. He's really confident, the young man, at the moment, and Trenkovski clearing it away. Also, he's just kicked it right up in the air. Otto now trying to get it away. He manages to get a second bite at it. Cool, calm, and good play there by Otto. And he's, in the end, managed to evoke a free kick right in front of the assistant linesman there, who was well placed on that occasion. And we've just knocked over the 70th minute here at Tomset Stadium. The Knights supporters in fine voice. The visiting Melbourne Srbija supporters a little bit subdued after that Luka Korlic goal in the 63rd minute. Shepherd now for Serbia. Knocks it back all the way to Nechovsky. Davies had it on the far side. Ellenberger, the new player, he's knocked off the ball, but he manages to tap it to his player. Josh Divan, who's getting at the ball a lot today, particularly in the second half. Korlic now, the danger man. Ellenberger. He tries to go in board. Ellenberger now once again. Gonzalez for a foot race to the ball. There with Shepherd. Shepherd wins out. He's first. Melbourne Srbija now in possession of the ball. Ishak now chests it down. Nugent. He stops. He props. He turns around. He sees Luka Korlic as being the most dominant player on the park, in my opinion. Ochieng now. Ellenberger taps it to Korlic. Korlic to Gonzalez. Gonzalez does a full 360. Knocks it to his left where Otto was there. Back to Korlic. Divan now using his body there to Otto. Otto's going to go right to the line. No, he's not. He's going to come back. He's now right in the pocket. Will he get a free kick there? Referee says nothing. And in fact, it's going to be a throw in to Melbourne Srbija right in the far left corner. And the crowd really, really coming to life right here in front of our commentary position. Comes off Nugent, or no it didn't, came off his Melbourne Srbija counterpart, and it is going to be a throw into the Knights. Gonzalez chips it into the box. And the ball's going to go on that far side. It's not going to go out of play. Theo Oresti sprinting and getting to it before the ball goes out. Knocks it back to Trenkovski. Ishak now. He runs 20 or so metres. Goes inboard. Korlich now taps it out to Ochieng, who's got no one on him right in front of the Mark Viduka grandstand. Ochieng decides to go all the way back. Ends up with Ishak. He's got another empty space to run. He sees Ochieng to his right. Goes out to that side. Tavala now. I think it was Oresti. Back to Trenkovski. Back to Oresti. Nugent now. They're knocking it around very confidently, the boys in red. Korlich. Oresti back to Trenkovski. They're just waiting for the Melbourne Srbija players to come at them. Oresti now with the third possession in less than a minute. Divan now looking for Ochieng, who gets tripped over. I think that was Tavala who ricocheted the ball to the Melbourne Srbija players. And this is a dangerous now situation for, or could have been, for the Melbourne Knights. But Trenkovski was up to the task. He managed to intercept there.
And one substitution for Melbourne Srbija, which we might have missed, Tonchi, in all of that action. Number 9, Jack Hindle, has replaced number 7, Ryan Brown. He's gone straight up top to partner Emidio Rossi in the Melbourne Srbija front line. Still rolling with 2-man forward line and 4 in the midfield. Will be interesting to see if they do throw some more numbers forward with 15 minutes to go here at Tomset Stadium. 1v1 with Josh Divan on the left-hand side. Cuts in on his preferred right foot. Shoots, is well blocked. And Pharaoh with a burst of pace. Ball out to Hindle. Here we go, 1v1 versus Ishak. Hindle on his right foot. Just enough pressure from Ace and Ishak to throw him off balance. And he miscues with his right foot off to the left-hand side. And it's a Melbourne Knights goal kick here. Looks like it's going to be a frantic finish to this one, Tonchi. A lot of end-to-end action. The game sprung into life. The Melbourne Knights midfield has got on the ball a bit more. Luka Korlich is operating well in between the defence and midfield of Melbourne Srbija. And he's bringing a lot of his teammates into play. Goal kick for the Knights here. Well won from Davies. And Nugent plays it into this left-hand channel. And Divan keeps it in. Here we go, Josh Divan. Not a bad cross into the box, but Jared Hill claims that one on his second attempt. Melbourne Srbija need to find something here. They had a half-decent chance there through Jack Hindle. But Melbourne Knights still looking on top in this one. As the ball circulates to Adam Otto on the left-hand side. Decides not to cross. Inboard to Korlich. Tries to flick one through to Divan, but is well read by Aaron Bazensky. The game is just stretched a little bit. There's a little bit more space in the midfield at the moment. And I'm sure we'll see some end-to-end stuff in the next 15 minutes. I think there'll be more chances, Tonchi. What are you thinking?
Well, a lot more holes are starting to appear across the middle, especially. We saw Ishak undergo several runs, 20-metre runs across the middle. Corlic has got a lot more space, a lot more freedom as well ever since Gonzalez has come on as well. And that's certainly been the difference, I think, between the two sides. The Knights are starting to get a lot more penetration through the middle of the park. On the wings, Josh Diven is doing a lot of stuff off the ball. And you're noticing he's using his body, but he's also just tapping it away to Adam Otto on this near side. And that seems to be also creating a lot of chances for the Knights. But Melbourne Srbija aren't giving up by any stretch of the imagination. And here we see Hindle now, who's looking quite dangerous on this right-hand side. And he's really forcing Ishak to be on his toes on several occasions. And I just get the feeling if Melbourne Srbija are going to get back into this game, it's going to come from this right side, the right flank, where Hindle is starting to really come into the game, the substitute. Ball's knocked out of play by Gonzalez, who's been really in the thick of the action since he's come on. As I said, he's really managed to deflect a lot of the attention away from Corlic and give Corlic a little bit of freedom in that middle of the park to sort of really assert his dominance. And when I say assert his dominance, he certainly did that in the 63rd minute with a world-class right-footed curling effort that ended up in the back of Jared Hill's goal. And we've got another substitution. In fact, we've got a double substitution. Ivan, you were keeping tabs on that.
Yes, looks like Takumu Ito has come off and Nathan Dibb has come on. And just awaiting confirmation on the second substitution. Looks like it might have been Emidio Rossi to come off. And potentially Daniel Hudson to come on the left-hand side. Of course, just quickly around the grounds, Port Melbourne and Langwarrin played out a 1-1 draw. Brunswick City are 3-2 up against Melbourne Victory in the 85th minute. And it's 1-0 here at Tomset Stadium. 10 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Ball comes out to Larkic. Tries a switch of play. And now comes out to Colby Pardon. Tries to turn. But good defending from the Melbourne Knights. And some good pressure applied from the Knights there, forcing Melbourne Srbija to retreat. Switch of play to this right-hand side. And Owen Shepherd is adjudged to be offside here. Asen Ishak will take this one. In the Melbourne Knights half. Long ball down the line to Diven. Flicks it on. Can't get it past Natsovsky. Corlic flicks on to Gonzalez. Those two have worked well tonight, as Tonchi mentioned. And Corlic comes away with it. Unlucky there from Ellenberger. Forward ball from Serbia, intercepted by Ishak. And he goes on a run of his own here. Asen Ishak. Ball with Corlic to Otto. Back to Corlic. Well played in the tight space there on the left-hand side. As Adam Otto goes searching. And his own teammate has tackled him. What's going on there, Tonchi? Anyway. Melbourne Knights regroup and Nugent switches play to Ochieng. Melbourne Srbija don't seem to be pressing too high. But they are trying to lull the Knights into a false sense of security here in possession. As the Knights keep the ball moving. One of their better passages of play here, Tonchi. 10 to 15 passes. As the ball goes across to Aresti. And Corlic dropping deep. Out to Ochieng. And the referee calls a foul there. Still plenty of time for Melbourne Srbija to equalise here. Of course, we'll see if Melbourne Knights bring a defender on or are happy to sit on this 1-0 lead, which I assume they will be. Long ball forward. Jared Hill in a foot race. Claims. And Melbourne Srbija come away with the ball.
Well, you really have to be courageous in a moment like that, and Jared Hill exemplified that tenacity there as the ball quickly moves to the other, and Nugent to Ochieng. Ball goes forward. There's two Melbourne Srbija defenders, but a ricochet is in the end to Tavalla. Switched very, very quickly now. Otto, he's got space. The Melbourne Srbija defenders are back. And is that going to be a free kick now? It is going to be a free kick to the Knights. I think it was Larkic there and, if I'm not mistaken, Gonzalez. And in the end, Gonzalez ended up playing pansies, I think is the term that they use. But a free kick to the Knights. And here's an opportunity for the players just to regroup and catch their breath ahead of probably what will be the last 10 minutes of this game. There's one player down already, one of the Melbourne Srbija players who's got a cramp. And it is Asen Ishak providing the first aid service there. His opponent, and now the Melbourne Srbija physio comes on. Can't see who that player is on the ground, but nonetheless, it's, as I said, it's an opportunity for both players to both sets of players to regroup, grab a quick drink from the sidelines, because I think the next 10 minutes is going to come at a fast and furious pace. And was that Owen Shepherd? It looks like there is going to be a forced substitution there for Melbourne Srbija. Owen Shepherd it was. He's coming off, and we're just going to wait to see who is going to come on to replace him. And, Melbourne Srbija, we've said it before, they need a result from this game because they come up against top team Northcote City at home next week. And the Knights, well, if they manage to win tonight, they'll be back on track and, they'll be in equal top spot. And here's an opportunity for the Knights. And bit of ping pong from there. Alan Berger, Diven! Josh Diven waits. Josh Diven pounces. Josh Diven scores his maiden goal for the Melbourne Knights. It is 2-0 in the 86th minute. And something had to give. And Josh Diven's, bouncy effort has ended up in the back of the goal. And the Melbourne Knights fans are absolutely delirious.
Geez, Jelko Popovic will be disappointed with that one. Bit of a goal-mouth scramble there. Melbourne Srbija unable to clear their lines. The ball fell to Josh Diven. Looked like a bit of a deflection. But I'm sure the Melbourne Knights, number 9, will not mind at all. Melbourne Knights 2, Melbourne Srbija 0. And that could seal it, folks. As Melbourne Srbija look to launch an attack of their own here. They'll be disappointed. They've defended fairly well tonight. A Luka Kolic strike from outside the box was a moment of magic, but that one they'll be disappointed with, I'm sure. As they have the ball deep in attack now, and Melbourne Srbija win another throw-in. Of course, it did look like Owen Shepherd was coming off, but he's done half a lap around the pitch, and it looks like he's come back on. So we'll keep an eye on that one as he receives here. And a turnover. Melbourne Knights throw in. As you said before, Tonchi, Josh Diven's been waiting to get off the mark. He, of course, didn't start last week, came off the bench. Got the nod from Mick Calandrella this week. and he's repaid the faith, scoring the Melbourne Knights second just then.
Well, he's done a lot of work off the ball, and I'm going to say this again. His contribution in this second half has been amazing. Him and Otto, particularly on this left side, have done very, very well. But he had a couple of opportunities, and speak of the devil, Otto, and now Adam Otto has the ball. He's got a bit of space. He's got Allenberger to his left, but he decides to go, yes, he does go to Allenberger. And he certainly looked very attacking, is the best way to describe it, since he's come on. Otto to Gonzalez, another player that, in my opinion, has turned things around since his entry onto the pitch. Ochieng to Aresti. The Knights are buoyed by that second goal, by Diven's goal. Otto. Nugent goes forward looking for Allenberger. He chests it down. He controls it. Back to Otto. And the Knights are looking really good. The Knights are looking really good as we enter the 89th minute. And all eyes will be on the fourth official. He's just about to prepare his board to signify how much time is to be added on. I'm predicting about 4 minutes. What do you reckon, Ivan?
Yeah, 4 or 5 minutes seems reasonable, Tonchi. We've had a fence go down. We've had 2 goals. We've had 5 or 6 substitutions. That sounds about right. As Aresti launches onto this right-hand side. And just one of the players, looks like it could be Luka Kolic. Of course, he's had a fantastic second half. Fairly quiet in the first half, but he's sprung to life. It looks like there will be a substitution with Luka Kolic potentially making way. It looks like Fraser Dunlop is the man ready to replace him. The Melbourne Knights faithful in the Mark Viduka stand give him a rousing reception as he comes off. Well done, Luka. And Fraser Dunlop enters the action. Last few minutes here at Tomset Stadium. Just waiting for stoppage time to be confirmed. Let's see if Melbourne Srbija can pull one back here. But the Melbourne Knights have been extremely resolute in defence tonight. The partnership of Aresti and Ishak has been very solid. And when needed, Trenkovski has stood up and come to the party as well.
Well, the Melbourne Srbija coach Jelko Popovic will not be happy, obviously, with the result, but he won't be happy with the fact that his side's conceded a second goal, and that makes it 10 for the season. However, he'd certainly be, I think, very, very happy with the overall performance of his team. It was 2 absolutely fantastic goals, world-class goals, really, that is the difference between the 2 sides. But we got 7 minutes of time added on, so there's a little bit more than we thought there was going to be. But we've already had 1 minute down. So, look, potentially still some time for Melbourne Srbija to get back in the game. Diven, he's dragged down. I think he's going to get a free kick, and there's going to be a yellow card against Tom Larkic here. Thomas Larkic copping a yellow card there for a late tackle on Josh Diven. And Diven certainly has been the player of the second half. And he's been brought down in the middle of the park. I'm sure the Knights players will be happy to take their time with this free kick. But 2 phenomenal goals. It was Luka Kolic in the 63rd minute and Josh Diven in the 86th minute. And Diven's goal was fantastic in the sense that obviously the finish, but also the build-up there as well. And the impressive part about the Melbourne Knights this year has been the patient build-up, the patience in possession as well, willingness just to strike down their opponents, wear their opponents down well. And Knights coach Mick Calandrella has he's probably managed to mould this team and gel this team a lot quicker than maybe even he expected. because I think something like 17, 18 players were signed in the off season, and he's certainly doing very well, and so too are his charges. With by all accounts, it will be 4 wins and 1 loss after tonight's game, and it's going to be Ishak with the ball. Goes out into the pocket there where Tavalla was trying to keep possession, but he wasn't able to. Ball goes out to play. Melbourne Srbija now with the ball. Shepherd there, who came off. He seems to be limping. He's struggling. Nechovsky. Shepherd once again in the midst of it. It is going to be a throw-in to Melbourne Srbija, about 10 metres inside their defensive half, right in front of the Mark Viduka grandstand. If they're going to do anything, they need to do it very, very quickly. 3 minutes down already. 4 minutes to go of this ball game.
Advantage for Melbourne Srbija. No, the referee decides not and pulls it back. If the score stays at 2-0 here, Tonchi, Melbourne Knights will go up into second position on the VPL 1 ladder with 4 wins and 1 loss. Equal on points with Northcote City, who of course will play North Sunshine Eagles at home tomorrow and will be looking to make it 5 from 5. So very good start for the Melbourne Knights and Mick Calandrella. Of course, did get promoted with Brunswick Juventus last year. Has won a State League 1 title with Altona City. Can he add a VPL 1 promotion or even title to his list of achievements? Brunswick Juventus, my apologies. And down the other end of the table, Melbourne Srbija stranded on 3 points, 1 win from 5. And they are currently in the relegation zone alongside Port Melbourne and the North Sunshine Eagles. Ball comes forward to Ellenberger. And well cleared by Ishak. Final few minutes here at Tomstead Stadium. What was a bit of a quieter first half, Tonchi, lit up a little bit in the last 5 minutes with a couple of half chances. And into the second half, Luka Korlic turned the game on its head with that fantastic strike. And then Josh Diven added one to his name to make it 2-0 for the Melbourne Knights. So we have a throw in here deep in Melbourne Srbija attack. Headed away from the Knights. Bit of a tangle in the corner there. And the assistant referee has gestured towards a corner flag for a corner kick. Let's see if they can get something out of this one. Ball into the box, dangerous. Misses everyone. Ball comes back in to the back post. It's Cameron Davies there at the back stick. Ishak does well. Ellenberger. And Larkic. Otto and Hindle. Hindle comes away with it. Switches to the left-hand side. Ball out on the far left. Cross into the box from Melbourne Srbija. Well cleared from the Melbourne Knights. And a counter-attack of their own. And that one will be a yellow card by the looks of it. Professional foul there on the far side. As this game comes to a close, it's been a very professional performance from the Melbourne Knights tonight. Defended absolutely brilliantly and have taken a couple of chances on their own. As they have built some momentum to start this VPL 1 2026 season.
Well, 7 minutes of stoppage time or extra time is up, and it is now all eyes on the referee And it is going to be a 2-0 win to the Melbourne Knights. And the final whistle is imminent here at Tomset Stadium. Next week, there could be an opportunity with Divan now. And there's an offside. Looks like there's going to be a free kick against the Knights. And any chance of a third goal goes begging. Melbourne Srbija are at home to Northcote City. And there we have it. There is the final whistle to signify the end to what was an absorbing and a thrilling contest here at Tomset Stadium. Before I was cut off, Melbourne Srbija will be hosting Northcote City next Saturday night, and Bulleen Lions will be at home to the Knights. But in the meantime, the Knights will be celebrating a valuable 2-0 win here against their old rivals. Melbourne Knights 2, Melbourne Srbija 0, and this game had it all. A big crowd, a big atmosphere, and some big goals as well. And Ivan, how did you see the game overall?
Fantastic crowd in tonight, Tonchi. Lot of noise, lot of support. Melbourne Knights come away with the win. A great performance. I'm sure Mick Calandrella will be happy with that one. And for Željko Popovic and his men, it'll be back to the drawing board. As we wrap up here from Tomset Stadium, thank you for joining us from wherever you're tuning in. On behalf of Tonchi and myself, good night and see you next week.